Hi, my name is Phyllis, and today I'm going to be teaching my son Danny how to make my mother Regina's wonderful chicken soup recipe that's been passed down from her many, many years ago.
This recipe that we're going off of,
Yeah.
Who made this recipe? Where did we get this recipe?
Actually, this was written down by your sister when she was around 10 years old, watching Grandma in the kitchen, and she wrote down word for word exactly what she was doing because Grandma never used any kind of measuring things.
Yeah.
So you'll see things in here like put in salt until it tastes good.
Yep.
No garlic or pepper.
It says it right there.
It's at the
no
top.
No garlic or pepper.
So the only real seasoning is the salt,
Yeah.
the vegetables, and there's a little bit of dill that goes in at the very end. But that's it. All the flavor is really coming from the chicken and the vegetables.
Yeah.
She wrote it down about 20 years ago. We've been following it ever since.
Same paper. Okay, so what's first? How do we start doing this?
Okay, well, we start with cut up kosher chicken, which is what you have in front of you. And what you're going to do is put all the kosher chicken pieces into this pot.
Into there. Just throw them in.
Yep, throw them in. The more chicken, the better the stock. Before you touch anything, because since you've handled the chicken, you need to wash your hands with soap and water to get all of that chicken off of you. Okay. And then we'll come back and add the water.
Okay.
Soap and water. So now we're going to add the water, and you just want to cover completely the chicken in the pot.
Just cover it. Just like.
Yep, and you're probably going to need more water than that. So just keep filling it.
Does the recipe say how much water?
No, absolutely not.
It's all feel.
It says, let me see.
It's all instinct.
It doesn't say anything. And then we can start chopping up the vegetables.
Yeah.
Take a parsnip.
Okay, that's this one. Okay.
So you want to peel off the outer skin. That's right. Yep, all around. Try not to cut yourself.
Okay.
Have you ever done this before?
Never.
Really?
Ever done this.
I'm so surprised.
I feel like maybe I've peeled a potato once for fun.
All right, it's the same thing.
For the novelty of it. When would Grandma make the soup?
All the holidays. So on Rosh Hashanah and on Passover, on Hanukkah, whenever there was an occasion for the family to have a traditional meal.
But it wouldn't be just like for dinner on a Tuesday or something, or like.
No, for dinner on Tuesday was vegetable soup. Chicken noodle was something that was, and matzo balls are usually something for holidays.
What's like the earliest memory of the chicken noodle soup from Grandma?
Around Passover, she would also make her own noodles, egg noodles. And she would make them very, very, very thin crepes that she would then slice. And those noodles were just wonderful, fresh, right after they were cooked. And I think I like the soup more for the noodles than for the soup. So that's how I remember from Passover. And then we're going to go next to the rutabaga.
The rutabaga?
Yeah, get rid of your roughage.
What is rutabaga?
That.
I would imagine, Grandma makes soup probably more or less the same way her mother made soup.
I would imagine so, yes. Except they probably went outside in the back of the house and found the chickens that were running around the chicken coop and slaughtered them and then cooked them. Yeah. She grew up in Romania, and they had a little farm, and so they had everything right there that they needed.
Yeah.
Grandma was very open about her life and the struggles and the hardships. About her family. She came from a family of 12 children. Only 5 survived after the war. She had older sisters who were already married, and she went to live with one of those sisters in a town that was pretty far away from where she lived.
In Romania?
In Romania, yes. And she lived with her sister. She was probably only 16, 17 at the time, up until the time that they were all, in that particular town, they were gathered and put into a ghetto. And then from the ghetto, she went on those awful trains and was taken to Auschwitz. In Auschwitz, if you've heard the stories about Joseph Mengele, who separated the people between those that could work and those that would die. So she was on line with her sister and her sister's baby, and the guards or whatever tried to grab the baby out of her arms, and she absolutely refused. And so what happened was she ended up going to the line that was gassed, and Grandma went on the other line. And miraculously, she found her 2 other sisters there as well. She was then sent to a different concentration camp called Bergen-Belsen. Her sisters went as well. And there's a lot of stories about how they survived the camp and what they did and how they had to help each other in order to make sure that they appeared healthy. Because if they did not look healthy, then they would just be taken to their death. So.
Yeah, she never saw her parents again, right?
Never saw her parents again.
when they-
Her parents were older at the time, probably not strong enough to work, so there was no chance. She never saw her younger sisters either. They were probably too young, and therefore they weren't strong enough to work, so chances are they went and were gassed as well. And she had 2 older brothers. They were the oldest of the family. They both also survived because they were strong, they were young. They survived that, and they survived Bergen-Belsen. And it was actually the British Army that liberated Bergen-Belsen when she was there. And then she was still with her 2 sisters, thankfully. One sister ended up going back to Romania, and the other one followed her here to the U.S. after a number of years.
Yeah.
After the war, she was very, very ill. And she was taken to a refugee recuperation center in Sweden. And she was there trying to get well for about probably a year or so. And then she had a choice. She could either go back to Romania, where she was born, or there was someone who was actually issuing student visas that would enable her to come to America. So she said she wanted to come to America. And that's what she did. And she had 2 older brothers. They also went back to Romania, but there was nothing for them there, and they ended up emigrating to Israel, which is why we have all those cousins in Israel. So we had her 2 brothers and her sister, Shmurtza, all ended up in Israel. And so we need to make another trip to go visit them there. Got a lot of cousins.
Didn't Grandma and Grandpa, they grew up like 20 minutes away from each other, but they met in New York,
Yeah, isn't
right?
that kind of funny? They actually met they lived in the same boarding house when they came to this country, and that's where they met. And they were from towns that were really so close together. I guess that's what brought them together, because they had a lot in common. We're all good. We're good. We're good. So same thing, you're going to peel them first.
A lot of peeling.
So yeah, we cut them large because they're going to soften in the soup, and since the soup cooks for like an hour and a half, that's kind of when you know it's ready, when the vegetables are really soft. Especially the carrots. The carrots take the longest time to cook, so a good way to know that if the soup is ready is when the carrots are soft. Then we drain it. We take all the vegetables out, and actually some people really love just eating the vegetables. Yeah. The other thing, if there was time, she would make the soup the day before, and then you put it in the refrigerator, and then all the fat comes to the top, and then you skim off all the fat. So not only do you have a clear soup, you have a 99% fat-free clear soup. We got a lot of carrots to go.
Okay. Oh, when Grandma would make the soup, did you all help her, or was she just kind of like, no, I got it?
Grandma didn't like anyone helping her in the kitchen, which is why I never learned how to do it myself until way, many years later, because if you would come in and you would try to do something, she would watch you like a hawk, and she'd be like, no, that's not exactly right. No, do that over again. And so I didn't spend a lot of time in the kitchen when I was a kid.
Yeah, I remember she was, till the end. Till the end, till she was very old. She always insisted she had to make something, she had to cook something, she had to cut something, she had to, even when she couldn't really make it anymore, like she you had to give her a vegetable to cut or something.
Yep.
She couldn't.
She was very good at it, too. And she always thought she could do it better than anybody else. So we're cutting them kind of large because they're going to enhance the flavor of the soup, but they're not actually going to be served with the soup.
You just get rid of the vegetables?
Or we eat them.
Yeah. I keep hearing noises, and I'm like, what? What'd I do?
Fear factor.
It's just one celery?
It's just one celery.
Just one celery.
I always question that too. It's very specific on here. It says one, only one.
One celery.
Just one.
Yeah. That subtle celery taste.
Yes, I guess so. And then we have leeks.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's it for slicing. Okay. So what we want to do now, we're going to put all the vegetables in. Ooh, smell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Is this like nostalgic. Does
Yeah,
this
yeah,
really
yeah. No,
bring
yes, it
memories?
smells like Grandma's kitchen.
Mhm.
But that kitchen always smelled good, even when it wasn't soup. There was always something cooking. And then we're gonna put in salt until it tastes good.
Still tastes good.
Yeah,
So
that's
we're
how
gonna
much salt you have to put in. So how much salt you think that is?
10 salts.
So we'll put in, and then we'll mix it around a little bit, and then we're just gonna let it cook, and then we'll start the matzo balls. Just sprinkle in. Okay, more. We're gonna need more. We'll taste it later, and we'll see if it's not salty enough. We can always add more.
If I stir, you just more like just
Yeah. Just.
push things around.
So now we're gonna do matzo balls. Grandma always says you have to make matzo balls from scratch. You can't use a mix. Not allowed. You're gonna crack 2 eggs, and you want to whisk those lightly. A little harder than that. 1 second. So now we want half a cup. There's half a cup of matzo. All right, that mix them all up. Okay, that's good.
Oh, that's
And
good.
that goes in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes.
Never know what to do with this when it's. I feel like I can't put it on the table. Put it in the fridge.
Yeah. You could just cook it in water, but it gives it a little bit more flavor if you cook it in the matzo balls in broth.
Okay.
That's fine.
So it's not that tight.
That's good. That's fine. I can see you doing this in your apartment, next weekend.
Yeah.
And then that is going to cook about 30 minutes. Leave it off kilter a little bit so it doesn't boil over. There we go.
Off kilter it.
Off kilter.
Yeah. Interesting.
Definitely needs more salt.
Aha, I was right. When we were visiting Romania to see Grandma's town, and we went to a salt mine,
Yes.
and I
that's right.
licked the walls, and they tasted delicious.
He actually did.
It did. It was pure salt. The whole tunnel, everything was just salt.
It's looking good.
Taste test 2. I think that's something.
And then we are going to just take out the big pieces of chicken and put it in here
Okay.
with the tongs. I like to make chicken salad. The
Yeah.
breast meat after
Yeah.
chicken's done.
Ooh, I love chicken salad.
Great chicken salad. It's another thing Grandma always do, if you remember.
She would make
She
chicken salad.
always made the chicken salad, yeah. The rest will come out when we pour it. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside. All right, this is the hard part.
Okay.
So you're going to need 2 towels because you're going to hold this,
Okay.
and I'm going to try and hold this, and you're going to pour it without splashing me.
Okay. Okay.
Then
So.
you're stronger than I am. Okay, yeah. Perfect.
Can I splash you?
That's okay.
Good.
Yeah, you let it all go. There you go. Okay, good. Ah. All right. Now, we're done. I'm going
Whoa.
to turn off the heat on the
There's a
matzo
piece of
balls.
chicken in here I want to get.
Okay. Eat it.
Yep. Yeah, I can just eat it. Should I?
It's hot. You can.
Yep.
All right. We have chicken soup.
Ooh. We did it. There it is.
All right. So as if you were making a bowl for yourself. Oh my God, that's a lot of noodles.
Okay, I was just grabbing them. Okay.
Okay. And then here's a couple matzo balls. And there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, matzo
One
balls.
delicious bowl of soup.
There's a lot in this recipe that I really was kind of clueless about. And
So
yeah.
actually, when Grandma would serve it, what she would do is she would bring the bowls to the table.
Yeah.
She would use a glass bowl that already had the noodles and the soup mixed together, and she would serve it at the table.
Wow.
And then if people wanted more matzo ball or more matzo balls and less noodles, they would kind of shout out what they wanted, and she would accommodate. Oh boy, Danny, you made fabulous soup.
I don't know how, but this tastes pretty good.
That's really good.
This is good. Does this bring up memories, or
I
you?
have a very happy home,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of good cooking, a lot of good smells, a lot of love.
How's it feel that I know how to make matzo ball soup now?
I expect you to make it the next holiday.
Great. All right. Well.
Oh, yes. Oh, the best. Mwah.